Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. One step forward, two steps back. The Crisis in Our Party, published May 1904. Dissolution of the Yuzhny Rabotchi Group. The alignment of the delegates over the organizing committee question may perhaps seem accidental. But such an opinion would be wrong, and in order to dispel it we shall depart from the chronological order and at once examine an incident which occurred at the end of the Congress, but which was very closely connected with the one just discussed. This incident was the dissolution of the Yuzhny Rabotchi Group. The organizational trend of Iskra, complete amalgamation of the party forces and removal of the chaos dividing them, came into conflict here with the interests of one of the groups, which had done useful work when there was no real party, but which had become superfluous now that the work was being centralized. From the standpoint of circle interests, the Yuzhny Rabotchi Group was entitled no less than the old Iskra editorial board to lay claim to continuity and inviolability. But in the interests of the party, it was its duty to submit to the transfer of its forces to the appropriate party organizations. p. 313, end of resolution adopted by the Congress. From the standpoint of circle interests and Philistinism, the dissolution of a useful group, which no more desired it than did the old Iskra editorial board, could not but seem a ticklish matter, the expression used by Comrade Rousseff and Comrade Deutsch. But from the standpoint of the interests of the party, its dissolution, its assimilation in the party, Guzeff's expression, was essential. The Yuzhny Rabotchi Group bluntly declared that it did not deem it necessary to proclaim itself dissolved and demanded that the Congress definitely pronounce its opinion, and pronounce it immediately, yes or no. The Yuzhny Rabotchi Group openly invoked the same continuity as the old Iskra editorial board began to invoke after it was dissolved. Although we are all individually members of one party, Comrade Igorov said, it nevertheless consists of a number of organizations, with which we have to reckon as historical entities. If such an organization is not detrimental to the party, there is no need to dissolve it. Thus an important question of principle was quite definitely raised, and all the Iskroists, inasmuch as their own circle interests had not yet come to the forefront, took a decisive stand against the unstable elements. The Bundists and two of the Rabotchi ideoloists had already withdrawn from the Congress. They would undoubtedly have been heart and soul in favor of reckoning with historical entities. The result of the vote was 31 for, 5 against and 5 abstentions, the 4 votes of the members of the Yuzhny Rabotchi Group and one other, that of Bielov, most likely, judging by his earlier pronouncements. p. 308. A group of 10 votes distinctly opposed to Iskra's consistent organizational plan and defending the circle spirit as against the party spirit can be quite definitely discerned here. During the debate the Iskroists presented the question precisely from the standpoint of principle. See Lang's speech, p. 315, opposing parochial amateurishness and disunity, refusing to pay heed to the sympathies of individual organizations, and plainly declaring that if the comrades of Yuzhny Rabotchi had adhered more strictly to principle earlier, a year or two ago, the unity of the party and the triumph of the program principles we have sanctioned here would have been achieved sooner. Orlov, Guzev, Ladov, Muravyov, Rousseff, Pavlovich, Glebov, and Gorin all spoke in this strain. And far from protesting against these definite and repeated references made at the Congress to the lack of principle in the policy and line of Yuzhny Rabotchi, of Makehoff and of others, far from making any reservation on this score, the Iskroists of the minority, in the person of Deutsch, vigorously associated themselves with these views, condemned chaos, and welcomed the blunt way the question was put. p. 315, by that very same Comrade Rousseff who, at this same sitting, had the audacity, oh, horror exclamation mark, to bluntly put the question of the old editorial board too on a purely party basis. p. 325. On the part of the Yuzhny Rabotchi Group the proposal to dissolve it evoked violent indignation, traces of which are to be found in the minutes. It should not be forgotten that the minutes offer only a pale reflection of the debates, for they do not give the full speeches, but only very condensed summaries and extracts. Comrade Igorov even described as a lie the bare mention of the Rabotchi Missile 1 group alongside of Yuzhny Rabotchi, a characteristic sample of the attitude that prevailed at the Congress towards consistent economism. Even much later, at the 37th sitting, Igorov spoke of the dissolution of Yuzhny Rabotchi with the utmost irritation. p. 356, requesting to have it recorded in the minutes that during the discussion on Yasny Rabotchi the members of the group had not been asked either about publication funds or about control by the central organ and the Central Committee. Comrade Popov hinted, during the debate on Yasny Rabotchi, at a compact majority having predetermined the fate of the group. Now, he said, p. 316, after the speeches of Comrades Gusev and Orlov, everything is clear. The meaning of these words is unmistakable. Now, after the Iskroists had stated their opinion and moved a resolution, everything was clear, that is, it was clear that Yasny Rabotchi would be dissolved, against its own wishes. Here the Yasny Rabotchi spokesman himself drew a distinction between the Iskroists, and, moreover, Iskroists like Gusev and Orlov, and his own supporters, as representing different lines of organizational policy. And when the present-day Iskra represents the Yasny Rabotchi group, and Makhov too, most likely. As typical Iskroists, it only demonstrates that the new editorial board was forgotten the most important, from this group's standpoint, events of the Congress and is anxious to cover up the evidence showing what elements went to form what is known as the minority. Unfortunately, the question of a popular periodical was not discussed at the Congress. It was very actively discussed by all the Iskroists both before the Congress and during the Congress itself, outside the sittings, and they agreed that it would be highly irrational at this moment in the party's life to launch such a publication or convert any of the existing ones for the purpose. The anti-Iskroists expressed the opposite opinion at the Congress, so did the Yasny Rabotchi group in their report, and the fact that a motion to this effect, with 10 signatures, was not tabled can only be attributed to chance, or to a disinclination to raise a hopeless issue.